Welcome to the MOOC, Money, Mind and Markets, the Science of Financial Literacy. In the week 6 Future of Finance, we are discussing about the financial life cycle. In this unit, we are going to understand what is a financial life cycle and how we are going to address the behavioral biases too. Let me begin with a simple question. Why do most people in India earn the highest in their 40s but still feel financially insecure in their 60s? The answer is not income, it's financial independence and the behavior. So today's session is about how to manage lifestyle, how to achieve the financial independence. In this, we are going to discuss about the lifestyle. Most importantly, how your own mind can become your biggest financial enemy. Recall in the first week, we have discussed our own mind is our biggest enemy. Think about it. The answer lies in something we always often ignore, the financial life cycle. Today, we are not just learning the theory, we are understanding how money behaves across your life from your first salary, you're drawn to your retirement and even beyond. I'll show you a diagram. Look at this curve. The income rises, peaks and then declines. But what about expenses? They don't follow the same pattern. That mismatch is where financial planning becomes critical. Today, we explore a concept that connects the finance with the human life cycle. That's what is the financial life cycle. Just as individuals grow from childhood to retirement, their financial needs, and the goals also evolve. The income typically rises in early years, peaks in the middle age, and declines post-retirement. The financial priorities shift from survival to the growth mode, from preservation to the legacy mode. If you understand the key stages of the financial life cycle, there are 4 phases. The first thing is accumulation phase, which we call it as a grow wealth. Then the second one is a retirement phase, use the wealth. Third one, the estate planning phase. In fact, transfer the wealth. So the life cycle stages of the client are the childhood, young, unmarried, young, married, married with children, married with older children, pre-retirement, then comes the retirement. So these are all the various stages where we need to plan, where we need to have our financial plans. So let us break life into stages, not biologically, but financially. So we call it as a financial life cycle. Young adult, 20 to 30, in India, this is your job phase. Example, a fresher working in a Bangalore earning 6 to 10 lakhs per annum, and the typical behavior would be spending on the lifestyle, either in travel or on the phones, and with minimal savings, and they are dependent on the parents. Dependence on the parents reduces slowly. So here is the reality. This is the most powerful stage for the wealth creation. So one can start an SIP of 5,000 rupees per monthly, start at the age of 25. At 20% return can grow into nearly 1 crore by retirement. But if this SIP is started at 35 years, it drops drastically. So what do you think? If you had 5,000 today, would you invest or spend it? Why? So this explains. In early years, individuals focus on education, next the income generations. So the midlife is dominated by the family responsibilities and wealth accumulations. Later years emphasize the wealth protection and income sustainability. So moving on, the second stage, the family development, that is from the age 30 to 50 years. This is the most financially demanding stage. In this age, one will have marriage, One will have a home loan, maybe 50 lakhs, more than 50 lakhs typical if you look at it in urban India. Children's education, where we need to spend 20 to 30 lakhs. Here, income is high, but so are the responsibilities. So we can look at it from 30 to 39. One can diversify their portfolio, and 40 to 54, one should discuss about the risk management and the tax efficiency. So, a mid-level IT professional earning 20 lakhs per annum in EMI should be 40,000, school fee 15,000 per month, insurance and expenses will be literally high. So, despite high income, savings are often low during this period. So, time to reflect. Do you think taking a home loan early is a good or a bad financial decision? If may ask you, why does income not remain constant throughout the life? At what stage do you think financial planning becomes most critical? And how do responsibilities shape financial decisions? I think this is the phase we need to watch. And then comes the accumulation phase, the building the wealth creation. This phase is like a planting a tree where we invest in equity, be it with a passive or active, like mutual funds, passive investing or active investing, stock markets, or be it buying insurance and managing the debt. If you recall, during COVID-19, many young investors entered the stock market using the apps like Zerodha. Markets crashed in 2020, but those who stayed invested saw the massive gains later. The important insight here is time in the market is greater than the timing the market. So, in the accumulation phase, say for example 30 to 40, maybe 25 to 50, we can say the individuals earn income, build assets, take calculated risks, right. So, in the age 20 to 29, one should focus on financial fitness, and from age 30 to 39, you begin the diversification. Age 40 to 54, one should focus more on the risk management and tax efficiency. With the typical financial activities like savings for goals like housing, kids education, investing in equities and bonds, insurance planning and managing the debt. The asset allocation for the younger individuals, that is who are fresh employees, graduates employed from 21 to 25, you can have 21 to 30, you can have the higher equity exposure with a growth focus, whereas from 30 to 40, 45, you can see the balanced allocation, and more 50 to 60 later stage, we should always have the reduced risk exposure, because there are some important needs which we need to address. For example, the emergency fund or the health and life insurance or the retirement planning. But retirement planning, remember, we need to start early. That is the reason here comes the behavioral factors. In India, many investors panic during the market falls and invest during the market highs. This is exactly opposite what should be done. So, if markets fall by 20%, what will you do? Will you sell, wait or invest more? Time to reflect. Time to reflect. Why should young investors take more risks? What happens if someone delays savings until the age 40? And most importantly, how does debt influence your wealth accumulation? Move on to the retirement phase. That is what we call it as preserving wealth. Imagine now you are 60, no salary, but expenses continue. If I speak about the reality in India, only 10 to 15% people have the formal pensions. Majority of them depend on the savings or the children. A retired government employee versus a private employee. The government employee has been assured by a pension system, whereas a private employee who is retired post-retirement, you should depend on his EPF, NPS or savings. So, as individuals approach 50 plus retirement age, priority shift from earning to preserving, from growth to the stability. We can make out from the ages 55 to 69, one should have the financial independence stage, and from age 70 plus, conservation of the wealth and the distribution, wherein the key financial needs would be of a regular source of income. It could be either pension or your annuity income, because we need to have planning for a health, inflation protection, and we need to look into the low risk investments. Of course, there are challenges which we need to address. The first one being the longevity risk, which will outlive our savings. As I said earlier, the inflation and the medical expenses. So, the investment strategy should shift from reducing the equity exposure to increase the fixed income instruments. And most importantly, they should focus on the liquidity. I'll ask you some questions. Why is risk tolerance lower in the retirement? In the retirement, what is more important, returns or stability? How can inflation affect the retirees? Questions for you to ponder. And the final question is, what is more important at retirement? Is it high returns or stable income? Why? Because losing money hurts more than the missing gains. Remember the behavioral bias. And next comes the phase wherein estate planning, in the financial gerontology we call it as. Let me ask you something which all of us are uncomfortable. What happens to wealth after you? Yes, that is the estate planning. If you look at it, in reality, in Indian scenario, many families don't have a will. The word will cause a lot scared among the family members. They are scared to listen the word. It leads to the disputes or it may lead to the legal issues. I'll quote one example. Property disputes among siblings are due to lack of clear nomination or written will. So, if you look at it, the age and the finance, in the financial gerontology, as people age, the decision making ability will decline and the fraud, the risk increases. That's the reason we can see in India, elderly individuals in India losing money to the digital frauds, scam calls or fake investment schemes or phishing or digital arrests. Number of incidents happened for the digital arrests with the older people who are just retired, who are greedy to invest that amount or who could not protect their retired amount. I will give you one practical suggestion. Nominate your bank accounts, make joint accounts and be ready with the power of attorney. So, estate planning ensures your wealth is transferred smoothly after your lifetime. This estate planning includes the will creation, the trust which won't see in India, but still the tax planning, which is very effective, and then don't forget about the nomination. And when I use the word financial gerontology, what do you mean by that? This is a study of the financial issues that are related to aging, as one is aging. So, because when we see this, we have some important aspects like cognitive decline. When you grow aging, your cognitive ability will decline. That will affect the financial decisions. Moreover, the increased dependency will be there. As I said earlier, the financial fraud leads to the risk. And sometimes we may land up in completely emotional decision making. So, the tips success is simplify your finances, assign the power of attorney as and when you are very clear about it, and plan for long-term health care, not only health care, emotional as well as a financial. Let me ask you to reflect. Why do people avoid estate planning? And what risks do elderly individuals face in financial decisions? Why do you think Indians avoid writing the wills? How can families support the aging individuals financially? Now, let us understand the factors that are influencing the financial life cycle. Financial decisions are not made in isolation. They are influenced by multiple factors. First thing is the personal factors like age, income, education, the family size. Try to take some economic factors. For example, the inflation and the interest rates. When RBI increases the interest rate, what happens to the loan EMIs? Loan EMIs increases, the savings returns improve. And beat the psychological factors like fear, greed, overconfidence. The crypto boom in India, many invested due to FOMO, fear of missing out, but not due to the knowledge, right? So, have you ever made a financial decision emotionally? How would your financial plan differ from your parents' generation? Are the financial decisions rational or emotional? What stage of life requires the most discipline? These are some of the questions which we need to answer. So, the financial life cycle teaches us that financial success is not about earning 1 crore. It is about managing even the 10,000 rupees wisely. So, I would ask you to think upon start early so that you will have the compounding advantages. Protect before investing, that is insurance is the first. Diversify your investments, plan in retirement early, think beyond your lifetime, that means your estate planning. To note down that, please reflect on this, write down your current life stage and what is a one financial goal and one mistake which you want to avoid. Let me give you one more question. Why do people earning 1 lakh per month still feel financially stressed while some earning 40,000 live peacefully? The answer is not income, it is financial independence and the financial behavior. So, if you understand the managing the life cycle and how to achieve the financial independence, one can control the mind because mind is the biggest financial enemy. Let me take you to financial independence concept. What is this financial independence? It means you don't work because you have to. You work because you choose to. In simple terms, your investments generate enough income to cover your expenses. That means financial independence happens when passive income is greater than the expenses. Imagine your monthly income is 50,000 rupees and your investments generate 50,000 per month. Your income is equal to expenses. So, how many Indians can be financially independent? Very few, not because they don't earn, but because they don't learn, they don't plan. So, if you stop working today, how many months can you survive? This leads to the foundations of the financial independence. Financial independence is not luck, it is built on the strong foundations. First one being income stability. In India, many depend on a single income source. For example, IT employees are dependent only salary, and during the layoffs, it leads to the financial stress. So, the lesson that has to be learned is build multiple income sources. Secondly, a tertiary source of income should be from your passion, or it could be from your stock market, or it could be passion like freelancing, or it could be another side business, right? And the second one being the savings discipline. Indian households traditionally saved a lot. Now, lifestyle inflation is replacing the savings. Recall the nuclear family, even the salary increases from 32,000 to 60,000, the savings will remain 5,000 only because the nuclear family is. Next comes the investment mindset. Saving is not enough. Saving is not enough. Inflation in India averages 5 to 7%. If your money is in savings, account earnings will be 3%. That means you are losing the wealth. So, time to reflect. Do you think saving money in a bank is enough for your long-term wealth? No, not at all. So, that's the reason you need to see various investment avenues. Next comes the deadly villain, the lifestyle inflation, the silent trap. Lifestyle inflation means as income increases, the expenses increase automatically. Your first job, you might have used the public transport and you have made your budget, very friendly budget for your eating purposes. But after 3 years, once you start earning, you will go for the cab rides, you will order your food through Swiggy or Zomato daily, or you may go for EMI for iPhone, right? So, the reality check has to be done. If your income is double, but what happened to your savings? Have savings been double? No, right? So, that's the golden rule comes. Don't upgrade your lifestyle until you upgrade your assets. I'll give you one example. Two friends, their person A invests 10,000 per month and person B spends 10,000 per month. After first 15 years, simple, the person A builds wealth, person B builds memories, but without any financial security. So, write down what is the one expense in your life that is purely lifestyle driven? Is it food, transport, travel? Right? All of us know because the behavioral pitfalls in the financial decisions. We should come to the important part, that is our behavior. We need to address the herd mentality issues. What others are doing, don't try to do that. If, for example, if there is a real estate boom, everyone is buying property, don't go for it. Simply blindly. Crypto boom, don't invest in blindly. So, beware of the herd mentality. Next is the overconfidence. After one successful investment, you think that you understand the market, understood the market much better. But in reality, if you invest, you start losses, you will start losing, you will end up in losses. So, overconfidence is very important, very critical to take care. Then comes the loss aversion. People hate losses more than they like gains, right? So, holding a bad stock or real estate for years, hoping it will recover, is not a good thing to recommend. Next comes instant gratification. Buy now, pay later, or swiping the credit card. It feels very easy, but repayment is quite difficult. It is painful. For example, during the festival sales, now we have this feature called as a buy now, pay later. EMS on everything from the automobile, mobiles to the computers, each and every item. The resultant is the debt trap, especially buy now, product later. So, have you ever bought something just because it was on discount? Time to reflect. Okay. Now, let us build a practical strategy, financial independence. Make it more actionable. The first step being track your expenses. What gets measured gets managed. I'll be sharing a format for this. Step 2, follow 50-30-20 rule. Especially moreover, this is an Indian version wherein we have 50% needs, 30% bonds, 20% savings. The investment should be based on that. Third one, the start SIP, systematic investment plans. Start with simple 5,000 per month at 12% return. It will end up 50 lakh in the 20 years. Step 4, make the emergency fund. 6 months of expenses should be your emergency fund. Next, insurance. Insurance first. It should be term insurance or it could be the health insurance. Another step is to avoid bad debt. Loan for asset, okay, but loan for lifestyle is more dangerous. So you need to watch on that. If you had to choose buy a car or invest the same amount money, what would you choose and why? Try to reflect on that. Let us understand the psychological shift for the financial freedom. As I said earlier, financial independence is not just financial, it is psychological too. So, the mindset shift from consumption to the creation, from spending to the investing, from short term to the long term. Rich people buy assets first, other people buy liabilities first. Many Indians invest after spending, instead spend after investing, right? So, what is the one habit that you will change after today, after listening to this video? Let me conclude with some takeaways. Financial independence is not about the high salary or the fancy lifestyle. It is about more to do with the discipline, the awareness and the consistency. So, the final takeaways is the control, the lifestyle inflation, understand your behavioral biases, invest consistently but not occasionally. So, the closing thoughts for this session is, you don't need to earn crores to become financially independent. You just need to manage what you earn wisely, right? So, write down your monthly expenses, your savings rate, one behavior you want to change. This brings about the mind shift in your financial life. So, your life will change, your income will change. But if your financial planning evolves with your life cycle, your future will always remain the secure. So, are you fit, learners? Finance is fitness. Earn, save, invest and retire. Happy learning.